If the path is out to the right, out to in, this represents the face is closed relative to the path, but it's open relative to the target line.
Okay.
That's essentially the equation for any shot you want to hit. If I want to hit a fade, path is not going to be out to the right, it's going to be to the left.
Out.
So ball is going to be forward. This is the path for a fade. Target line's still here. Club face is here now. Now the club face is left of the target line, right of the path. The projection of the circle onto the ground is like this. It should be curved, right?
Right.
But that's just all we got right now. The circle also moves up this way. So that's essentially this. Swinging on plane just means the club head is traveling up and down the circle. Okay. Generally, if we want to hit draws, there's going to be two things we're going to do, which is we hit the ball kind of earlier in the circle, because if it's earlier in the circle, the club's moving this way to the right, right? Another thing we do generally is we have a combination of we're hitting the ball earlier in the circle, but we're also moving the circle that way, to the right. So that's what we call swing direction. Swing direction is just we take this circle and we just go that way. If the swing direction is neutral, we just rely only on ball position to change ball flight. But since having a neutral swing direction is it's a little more challenging than simply just saying let's start the circle over here, then if we start the circle pointing right, we kind of preset the draw outcome, already to begin with, as long as the face is good, right? So if I just do this, I'm always going to be swinging out to the right. Another thing that helps us swing out to the right is the weight shift. If I start here and my feet are 50-50 this way, generally the circle is going to look something like this, where the middle of the circle is in the middle of my hips or my chest. So if I don't shift my weight, there's always a chance that when I rotate, the circle starts to do that. So that's me not moving the hips forward at all, hanging back on the back foot, and it's just spinning out. That's the classic slice recipe. So most people slice the ball, they do that. The opposite of that would be someone who can take their hips and move it laterally toward the target a lot. They start sliding and doing this, and they'll slide forward to the hips and then side bend the upper body to the right like this. This is how most people who draw the ball look. So they go into the ball. So notice how when I slide the hips forward and I side bend the upper body to the right, the hips don't really rotate a whole lot and the chest doesn't rotate a lot. So if I do that with the club, it's very easy to drop the club behind me so I can swing up to the right. It's sliding forward and keeping the chest pretty shut. Or if I'm in my backswing, I feel like my back's to the target for a long time. And then by the time I open up, I won't be too open. So your elbows and your shoulders are both left of the aim line. The hips and the knees and the feet are okay, but we do want to neutralize that to begin with. Because if you start off with the shoulders this way, where's the club going to want to go to start? It's going to want to move that way, right? A neutral circle means we're on plane. So if we're on plane, the club's going to just travel up and down the green line. For the most part in the takeaway, it's going to move up the green line. And then on the downswing, the club's going to kind of fall back parallel to the green line. So this would be considered an outside takeaway. So outside takeaway just means the hands and the club kind of left the green line to start. Okay, watch Tiger's club in the first few feet. So both the club and the hands are just traveling up the shaft plane. So he's hitting a draw here that starts 30 feet right out of the hole and it turns over. If you want to hit a ball right to left, what does that shaft need to look like here, halfway down? So if his shaft was looking like that, what do you think is going to happen?
It's way above the line. I'm guessing he'll slice it.
Yeah. So if the shaft is doing this, what's going to happen?
Hook. 'Cause I know I come over the top and early extend.
Yeah. An early extension usually is like a rescue move. People early extend usually because they're so steep they have to do this to lay the shaft back down. Whenever someone says I have trouble with my driver or my long clubs, it's never really just the long clubs, right? It's always because what they do with the driver is like an amplification of what they do with the short clubs. And the shorter the club gets, the harder it is to see that curve to the right? So for you, you may see a slice with your driver, and then with your irons, you're not going to really see necessarily a slice, but you're going to see a shot that might start right and fall right. You might see a shot that just starts left and goes straight left because the face is actually shut more, but the path is still that way. or you'll see a shot that starts on the target line and falls a little bit right at the target line. We can start in this portion here by just changing what you do from here to club parallel. If you can just move the club head along the red line, what that does is it takes your hands and it makes you move them around your body. So if your natural takeaway is this, it's very easy to get out to in, so we're going to just take this instead and move the hands up the plane. And that means the hands go up the same, essentially the same angle that the club's moving on. We start off here, we're going to move our hands inward, club goes inward. As we make our backswing, the hands are moving more around our body like this. So it's like my left arm, we call it deep. Where someone's arm is here has a big role in like whether or not they draw or fade the ball, right? So if I take my arm and I do this and I go way in here and keep it in and swing this way, that club's moving up into out. If I take this arm and I go, right? It's pretty self-explanatory. So the top of the backswing is going to look a little bit different too, because when you have more depth early, your left arm will actually look longer. Your hands will actually get more behind you. So the more depth you create early, lower left arm, longer looking left arm. Hands are deeper, so your hands here are going to be there. Yeah. Okay. We can actually forward press the shaft a touch, just like a couple degrees like that. Yeah. This alone does kick the face open. Just offset that a little bit. So you'll shut it a little bit, but it's still not going to be on the target line. So target line would be something like that.
Still right.
It's still like that. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. What I also want you to do is it's a good habit to turn the toes out a little bit. Toes that are too square like this can lock you up, and that can also facilitate early extension. Okay. Because if you can't rotate a lot, we can only really go up. Okay. Versus if the toes are out, then we can really free this up. We can push back. We can rotate that way like that. Yeah. So from my view, I want to see actually a portion of your left arm.
Portion of my left arm.
Right. And so you do that by bending the right arm a little bit more. There we go. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Try it out. Huh. Okay.
Thinking about like coming here and like flipping your hands then.
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Squaring the club face on the downswing is a gradual move. So like essentially I'm already starting to turn the face down the moment I change direction at the top of the swing. So I like to usually have a flat left wrist, which makes things easier, because if the wrist is flat, all you have to do is start rotating the forearms a little bit. So I'll be doing essentially this, like this with the club.
Gotcha.
So this rotates this way, this rotates this way. Squaring happens in transition. So I start to turn this face down gradually as I rotate and I roll the forearms. Already by the time the shaft gets parallel to the ground here, pre-impact, face is already pointing down. So then there's not much more that we have to do to get this face to come around like that.
Gotcha.
Okay, good. Okay, grab your driver. Pretend you're at impact.
Impact?
Yeah.
So ideally I'm kind of like there.
Okay, so that would be a little too open with the shoulders. In real time, you want to see the right arm under the left. Okay. Like this. So the right arm's under the left, shoulders are more square, and the face is going to be like slightly stronger like that. Yeah, as you get up and around. Yep. Okay. And then your eyes are going to feel like they're kind of, you're gonna be looking at the ball like from back here. So your right ear is going to be a little lower. Someone who fades the ball too, they tend to orient their neck and their eyes a little different too. So like someone who fades the ball, kind of look more like that. Okay. Right? Someone who draws the ball, like that, yeah. So as you shallow the shaft, your right arm's gonna feel like it's doing this. So you'll still release this club into the ball, but with the right arm is connected to your torso like this.
I see.
Like that, yeah. So that helps you avoid doing that too.
Yeah.
If you lose that connection, the club shoots out.
Yeah, because definitely watching myself before, it's reach and kind of come here.
Right, yeah. I have a little, like, tiny little drill for you to try.
Sure.
You take this club.
Yes, sir.
You hold it out in front of you, straight out like this. Take a ball and just toss it out to the right, up and to the right like this. So it doesn't have to go anywhere. We're just going. Because that forces you to kind of loop the hands in, get the elbow close to your side like this. Swing out to the right so the hands are moving up to the right like this. So the opposite of that would be kind of like that, right?
Right.
Yeah. Let's try it out. To the right. Yeah, up to the right. There we go. That's it. That's it. Yeah. Okay. Well, that was nice. Oh shit. Drew.